Hey everyone, I'm Allison.
I'm Bryce,
and we're Better Half Reviews. And today we are talking about Sheepy Time. It's designed by Neil Kimball, and the art is by Zoe Plain, and it's published by AEG.
Sheepy Time is a game where you are a dream sheep, and you're running around the board, jumping over fences to be counted. And every time you're counted, you score points and help people fall asleep. But beware of the nightmares that could wake people up.
Alright, so let's check it out. Okay, so this is the setup of the game. There are different boards depending on your player count. We're going to do a 2-player. I'm going to put it right up here. And you start with a few of these different dreams on space 5 and space 10. Nightmare goes in the middle, and the sheep go with the players. And you're handed any first player token. And when you're getting the deck ready, there are cards that you may need to take out. So this has like a little number 3 or a little number 4 on the top. Since we're just doing a 2-player count, we won't be playing with these in the deck. Now you need to choose which nightmare you want to start off with for your game. For your first game, they recommend the Nightmare Wolf. Each nightmare has a deck of cards, so we're just going to pull out all of the Nightmare Wolves and shuffle it into our deck. Now the deck is ready, you deal out 2 cards for each player. If anybody gets a Nightmare card in their hand at the beginning, this does need to get played. So this one says the nightmare moves 2 spaces. It moves onto the board, onto the number 2. This card's discarded, and they draw another one. They don't have a nightmare, no one else does, so we're good to go. So the point of the game is to get your pillow up far enough so that your head either lands on it or passes it during a round. So throughout the game, you're going to be catching winks and moving your head up. And depending on where the heads end up, whoever got furthest will move their pillow up 8. Second place will move their pillow up 5. If you were woken up by the nightmare, which we'll go into detail later, you only move it up 3. So you do this over a certain number of rounds until someone actually lands on or passes their pillow, and that will trigger the end game. So the actions are pretty easy. What you're going to do every turn is play a card and do the action that it says on the card, and deal with the consequences that may happen. So I am going to move 1 space and catch a Z. So I will move onto the board then, starting at spot 1, and catch a Z. Now Z's in the game allow you to have some different bonuses. So these different spaces, if you have a Z on there, and if you happen to land on that space, you'll be able to do that action. Yeah, once you play your card and you've moved, you draw another card. So the way that you gain winks is by moving your sheep all the way around and jumping over the fence. Each time that happens, you'll move up 5.
You can continue going around, gaining 5 winks every time you cross over the fence. However, if you wake up before you choose to stop pushing your luck, all of your winks will be gone for the round. There are several ways to wake up in a round. If you land in a space with a nightmare, or if the nightmare crosses into a space that you're in, you'll become scared. If you're scared and that happens, or the nightmare crosses into your space, or you land on the nightmare space, then you'll wake up. Another way to wake up is if you keep pushing your luck, trying to go around the track, and the nightmare gets to 10 and crosses over the fence, the round ends, and anybody who's still trying to go around the track will wake up.
And then you lose all your winks for that round. So remember, anytime after you play a card and then you draw, if you draw a nightmare card, you have to play that immediately and the nightmare will move. So this one says the nightmare moves 2 spaces. It lands on my space, I would become scared. Then you continue to draw until you don't get a nightmare card. Alright, so let's say that the round is over. Both sheep have retired for the night. So now we're going to look at this and look at the winks. So the purple got the furthest, so their pillow will move 8. Pink will move 5. You reset these for every round.
The person in last, or the person with the pillow on the highest number, will become the first player for the next round. Each player can choose to do one of 2 things. First, they can pick a new dream tile and put it anywhere around the board that doesn't have a dream tile space. If they do, the dream tile has a little symbol in the corner, and it'll tell you how many Z's to put on it.
Or they could choose to put down Z's on dream tiles that are already on the board instead of picking a new dream tile. So say it's my turn, I choose not to put out another dream tile, but I can put down Z's. I can put up to 2 Z's on the board. I can choose to put 2 in the same spot, or I could spread it out. So there are 2 different types of Z's. There's the regular Z's, and then there's the infinite Z's. If you have just the regular Z's on the board, anytime you use that action, landing on here and use the action, you take it away. But for example, this one, when Bryce put it down, it said put down an infinite Z. So he has the infinite Z. Anytime he uses this action, he doesn't have to remove the Z. He can use it anytime he lands on it throughout the game. And of course, you reset the nightmare into the middle. And then take all the cards and reshuffle the deck. And you're ready to go. So the play continues until someone finally reaches their pillow or passes it. In the case that 2 people reach or pass their pillow, whoever went furthest past their pillow is the winner. So in this case, purple would be the winner since they went past their pillow too, and pink only landed on their pillow.
If, however, they each went past their pillow the same distance, the next tiebreaker would be whoever has the most winks at the end of the round. So here it would be pink.
There are 2 other player tokens available, blue and yellow. The different nightmares do different things. So the ghost jumps around a lot, just appears and disappears. And the spider has a web that gets into the game and makes it a little bit more difficult. So the wolf is considered easy, the ghost medium, and the spider hard. So this game is full of push your luck, but these dream tiles add a lot of different strategy to it, and there are lots of them, so your game will feel different every time. And that's how you play Sheepy Time. Alright, so that's how you play the game. Let's talk about how we feel about it. Bryce, what are some of the pros?
So I like that this is a push your luck game without having too much luck involved. Where you're drawing cards and you could theoretically be very unlucky and get a whole bunch of nightmare cards and do nothing. But most of the time you're going to go around the board at least twice, maybe push your luck a third time before you really start feeling like, okay, everything's blowing up in my face.
I think it depends on the nightmare that you're playing with.
Oh,
so
that's true.
That's something else I like about this game, that there's 3 different nightmares to choose from, and they are different. They function differently. So, you know, if you're playing against the werewolf, he's a little bit more like, okay, he's going to move like 1 space most of the time. And then when you play against the ghost, you're like, you never know where he's going to pop up. And the spider has the web. So it changes up the strategy of the game. And so that's something I like about this game, is there's more strategy than you would think. So that kind of goes along with the push your luck aspect with not as much luck. I have terrible luck when we play this game, because what he was saying is like, oh, you know, most likely. No, I draw the nightmare all the time. But anyway, so yeah, there is a lot of strategy, and I like what these little dream tokens add. And that helps with the strategy in this game. And it can make for some really cool, for lack of a better word, like kind of engine building with where you put your little Z's. And you can make some really good rounds happen and go around several times. Right, Bryce?
Yeah, it's fun, kind of the engine building aspect. Like, you can get dream tiles that help you, like, jump in front of the nightmare, and sometimes in front of the nightmare makes you go all the way around and back to almost where you just were. And then you can have other tiles that help you move farther, or tiles that help you not be scared or whatever. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can build some kind of cool little engines, but you just got to make sure you have the right Z's on those tiles to be able to use them.
Yeah, but I like how the game works. It's lots of fun, and it's not too crazy, like rules overloaded. And I do also like how everything looks. Like, the art is just fun, and I don't know, I like looking at all the sheep, and then the little sheep tokens, and the nightmare token. So cool, I love it. And the little pillow tokens. If you can't tell, I just like all the pieces of this game. Alright, so let's move over to the cons. Do you have any cons for this game?
I mean, I wouldn't really call them cons as much as maybe just like little nitpicks, like things that I would prefer were different. So one is the cards. They're not like the highest quality cards. compared to everything else in the box. Like, everything
Yes.
else in the box is really
Yeah.
done nicely, and then the cards just, I don't know, they're not that great. They get shuffled a lot. I can see these getting damaged pretty easily.
Yeah, like everything else is like linen finish, and then when we were unboxing the cards, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, they work fine. They're good. They're just thinner than I thought, and I thought they would be linen finish compared to, you know, everything else, but I mean, it's not a deal breaker, but it's an annoyance a little bit, or not an annoyance, a nitpick. The other thing I have is an annoyance. The fence, really cool. I wish it was just a little bit more snug, because when we're playing the game, it's really easy to get it knocked, especially if you're playing with kids. So just keep that in mind. I mean, you obviously know where it goes between the 10 and the 1 space, but it won't always stay.
Well, and if you knock it over, you could knock into sheep, and then you could knock
pieces.
like Z's off, and then you're like, well, where were these Z's? Which dream tiles were they on?
That's when you're like, oh, I'm pretty sure I had them all on this space. No. And then my other thing would be, like, with these dream tiles, putting them around the board, really cool how it, like, makes that circle and all, but as you're putting the different Z's on there, you run out of space, and I usually put them up the top, but sometimes it gets in the way of what the actions actually are, so then it's like, okay, should I put them off to the side, but then they're more likely to get mixed around with other places, so, I mean, all my negatives, it's not really ruining the game. It's just like, oh, I wish this, oh, I wish that. But I don't know what they would really do differently anyway, so. My other thing, I love that there are multiple nightmares in this game, but I want more. I want more options. I feel like I'm, what's her name on Willy Wonka? I want it now! So I hope that there's going to be some more expansions in the future, because I think that would be lots of fun. And there's also lots of room in the box for some more nightmares. Just saying, I would love to see more nightmare options.
Yeah, with the nightmares they do have, they're great. I think it would add more replayability to have different nightmares. One thing going to the replayability, there's a ton of these dream tiles, and it took us, 3, maybe 4 games to go through all of them, and we purposely, like, put some of them off to the, like, the ones we had already used off to the side so we could see all of them. Mm-hmm. You're never going to use even a fraction of the dream tiles you have every single game. So yeah. there's a lot of different variation in that respect. Mm-hmm.
And there's even some more room in the box for some more of those too. So I am super hopeful that there's another expansion with more stuff, because I would love to have more Sheepy Time. And I mean, is this the biggest first player token you've ever seen? I feel like it's pretty big. What?
I don't know.
But anyway, so I just love how everything's like big and, you know, family friendly, because like you're playing with kids and stuff. So I think it's very approachable for a family, but it's also, we've had fun playing just with us. I think it'll be really interesting to try it with more people. So those are our thoughts about Sheepy Time. This is coming to retail May 28th. So I highly recommend it. Lots of fun for families and just for gamers. It's got fun push your luck with a lot of strategy.
Yeah, I like all the different mechanics in play here, where different rounds let you move your pillow up, which makes it easier to win the game, but you want to push your luck a little bit more. Maybe if your pillow isn't that far down, to maybe try to win a round sooner. I don't know. It's all just really interesting. I enjoy the game, and I think it's easy enough and approachable enough to be played in family settings. It would be great for kids.
As long as they're not afraid of the nightmares. But honestly, if you're nervous about that nightmare part, just don't really show them the card. It'll be fine. But anyway, Sheepy Time, it's a great game. AEG is on fire with their games lately, so definitely check it out at your local game store. I'm Allison.
I'm Bryce, and we're Better Half Reviews.
Happy gaming!
Have fun!
I think it'll be really interesting to try it with more people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can say that about every game.
Yeah, whatever.